What was once just text message advertising has now expanded to ringtones, mobisodes, games. What kind of delivery format do you see in the future?
That's probably the most interesting and exciting part of the industry at the moment. There's a variety of things that are opening up, but the reality is there is a lot of new applications and new services coming up every day. Some of them that might be considered in the mobile marketing realm now include things like mobile video, mobile television. So there's opportunities there for marketers to get involved in actually creating mobile television content like mobisodes. There are mobile virtual avatars and characters, branded spokespeople, which are being used around the world now that come through to your phone. Bluetooth technology is emerging, so people being able to participate in marketing campaigns with static mediums that then come to life via Bluetooth. Mobile gaming, which is moving towards advert gaming, where there's advertising in-game. Network communities, so the MySpace transferring to mobile, which leads to location-based communities, so knowing where the user is, what they're looking for. There's a wide variety of different elements in it.
So mobile marketing is now part of the advertising brief. More companies are looking at it, more companies are spending more money to develop such campaigns. How will mobile marketing affect the advertising industry over the next 2 to 3 years?
2 to 3 years depends on what country you're talking about, but in the more advanced markets, it's obviously going to have a huge impact. It's the fastest growing fastest growing advertising sector. SMS was the fastest growing communications device or mechanism, much faster than email. And mobile device actual ownership is still growing. The revenues have been very small comparative to the rest of the industry in the past 3 or 4 years, but they're really now starting to ramp up significantly and take away from broadcast mediums, which are one way and not engaging and not involving. And as we know, the consumer really is about involvement now, particularly the younger generation, and the mobile device is key to involvement because it can enable you to involve with the television, the poster, a billboard, whatever. It can enable you to involve yourself with screens outdoor. And so people integrating it into holistic advertising and marketing campaigns will find that mobile actually has a place to work in synergistically with a lot of different campaign strategies, and therefore take more and more of the advertising dollar. I think some of the predictions are from basically a standing start a couple of years ago to $1 billion in the US within the next couple of years. Some people are predicting $10 billion spent in the next 3 years on mobile advertising and marketing. And various people are quoting significant chunks of the actual advertising spend finding their way to the mobile screen.
So which industries have you seen have been the quickest to embrace mobile marketing, and why do you think that is?
The quickest worldwide have been those that have a very strong youth target, for obvious reasons, because the youth are the most rapid adopters of mobile or any technology, and also fast-moving consumer goods companies which use mobile in their ongoing promotions because it's extremely effective. That's where we've seen some of the original companies get involved and lead the charge, but also have seen extremely high outcomes, where 10% of the actual target market might have participated in a mobile marketing promotion, and it actually drives sales and that kind of real-world impact. And so those brands in that area have actually taken advantage of it to begin with, and particularly edgier brands that know that youth is part of their future, even sports brands, leisure brands that tap into the audience through this cool factor of using the means, have also been early adopters.
Our mobile phone is something that most of us have with us at all times. So how do advertisers strike the balance of taking advantage of that level of intimacy while at the same time respecting privacy?
The key thing that we've always made sure that was very clear whenever we're talking to anyone about mobile marketing is that the last thing you want to do is invade their privacy, ruin any potential relationship, and also waste their time with unproductive or uninteresting messages or communications. So the challenge for marketers is to use the medium where it makes sense and to ignore and not use the medium where it is totally irrelevant to the consumer.
So how do you think companies can create emotional connections and sustain relationships with customers?
In all the campaigns we do, the people who join up always join up and involve themselves voluntarily, right? We never push actually unwanted or unsolicited messages, which is a lot of actually people misinterpret what mobile marketing is. We've never once actually participated in a campaign like that, and very few of the market leaders do. So once people actually opt in to join something or actually engage, whether it's downloading a mobile game or browsing a mobile website or entering a mobile sales promotion, whatever it might be, it's then we find that if the campaign is useful and intelligent, engaging and entertaining, very, very few people drop off. Like, less than 1% in most cases of people decide that they're not interested in this activity anymore. So it's very much an involving and proactive medium where the user is choosing to participate. And if they're not enjoying it, they switch it off. Longer term strategies also exist where you can build a relationship ongoing with consumers. And again, it comes back to, is it something that they want? Is it something that they're interested in receiving or consuming? Is it content that they wish to see? And if it is, are you giving it to them, at the right frequency? You don't want to overuse the medium. But because it's so personal, if you get the balance right and the consumer's engaged and enjoying what the campaign or the program is about, then there becomes an affinity with the campaign. There becomes possibly an addiction. I mean, people really do get into some of the campaigns that are running or some of the brand activities that are taking place by the leading brands. And you can really see there is an emotional connection. The other thing is, the cell phone for a lot of people is extremely emotional. It's got all their contacts, it's their lifeline, and for a lot of people, probably their phone is a love mark. What model they have, or what carrier they have, or whatever. And so when you're actually engaging through that device, it becomes even more important that you recognize that each interaction is going to have a multiplied impact through that little screen.
So describe a mobile marketing campaign that stands out to you.
We've been doing a couple of interesting campaigns in the last year or so, trying to explore the boundaries of more advanced uses of the device. One of them that comes to mind is a channel that we created for Adidas in Asia around the World Cup, which has a lot of rich content, a lot of video interviews, a lot of videos on the products, a WAP browsing experience where there's lots of downloads and takeaways for the consumer, and basically a really long, extended, engaging experience on the mobile device, of which I think there's been very few attempted in this current state in the world of mobile marketing. Another interesting campaign we did was for Tylenol, for the Hispanic market in the States. And it was interesting because it was, I think, one of the first holistic mobile marketing campaigns targeted at that market, which is the highest adopter of mobile value-added services in the States. The campaign involved basically incorporating a mobile element to every piece of the rest of the Tylenol Hispanic marketing campaign, so into the television commercials, the in-stadium commercials, online, and a little microsite. And the content and takeaways there for the user were wide and varied, from text messaging, which enabled just the person with text messaging capability to receive daily alerts from the World Cup, daily quizzes and games, right up to the first mobile branded digital character in the States, where people who had video phones could download or create customized World Cup characters that were from branded as Tylenol soccer characters, who you could then send to friends or send to your own phone, etc.
So what other innovative uses of the mobile phones have you come across recently?
There is a pretty cool application called Dodgeball, I think, which Google has bought, which is experiencing a lot of growth in the youth market. And I think basically it allows you to sign up and you keep telling the service where you are, and it tells your friends who have signed up where you are and if you're near them and where whether you're close to them, and it tells your friends that you're in this certain location.
What would you say is the biggest challenge facing the mobile marketing industry today?
The biggest challenges, I think, are probably twofold. One is ensuring that entrants into the market respecting privacy of the consumer, designing and implementing only campaigns that are intelligent and that have the future of the industry in mind, not the short-term gains or abusing it as a short-term medium. This is probably the key thing, that if certain brands or campaigns end up being showcased for abusing the rights of the consumer, then it could be very devastating to any other brands thinking about getting into the sector. That's also related to education, which is a second challenge. Educating marketers what the power of the medium is, what it means, because people still really don't know what it means. I mean, there's a lot of confusion as to what mobile marketing is, and educating them how they can use it best in a holistic fashion to integrate into their overall campaign, and not just as one-off, silo tactics. So a combination of education and privacy concerns are probably the key elements that we've got to be careful of to make sure that the mobile marketing industry grows as fast as it should. Down the path, probably between 5 and 10 years, like where the internet is today, even though a lot of people currently are quite skeptical about why they would watch TV on their phone or why they would use their phone to do anything other than calling, I think we're really going to find every single person will be using their phone to, go online, check the latest news, watch the latest sports highlight, participate in a campaign online, browse, their fantasy football site on the mobile, probably make a phone call here or there, but really use the device in all sorts of ways that they currently have no capacity to imagine that's possible, because they don't even know it exists. Mobile search is going to be absolutely huge. I mean, if you think about where Google is today on the internet, I am now addicted to mobile Google, but most people don't even know it exists. You can find out anything you want on mobile Google. You can see a map of anywhere in the United States. You can get directions. You can search any query that you would have had on the web on mobile Google. So I think mobile search is going to be something that people, as they are addicted to search online, is going to have a big impact. I just think that the actual number of things people will be doing and snacking on, and that's a key word in our industry. We talk about snacking because you're not going to sit there and watch 2 hours of television on your phone, but you are, when you're waiting for a bus, going to check certain things, or you're going to watch a little clip of a comedy that you like.
Give us 5 things that we should do with our mobile phone today.
5 things to do. You could buy a video phone and send one to your mum and then have video calls with her. I think you should send pictures and text message up to a blog. So capture your daily routine, snap pictures of where you are, send them up to the web so people can see what you're doing. Send a text message to a friend. Download a mobile mobisode or video clip. What else? Change your ringtone.